meeting to order, please. Thank you. This is the January 7th, 2020 meeting of the Santa Barbara City Council. We'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. Call the roll, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Dominguez? Here. Councilmember Rouse? Here. Councilmember Snedden?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Friedman?
Here.
Councilmember Harmon?
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Present.
And Mayor Murillo.
Here. Thank you so much. So we have a day of ceremonial items. And the first one, Ms. Clerk, would you read the agenda?
Yes, item 1, comments by outgoing council members Dominguez and Rouse.
Very good. So would you like to go first, Mr. Dominguez? Look at Mr. Rouse is saying you go first. So thank you so much.
I wanted Councilmember Rouse to go first so I could just say ditto. So I resisted preparing anything, partly because we had a life-changing event 7 days ago. Some of you may have heard my wife gave birth. Emmeline Sky Dominguez. So been a little busy the last several days. Didn't have a lot of time to think about this, which is probably good because I don't even know where I'd start to approach this. It's been an intense, pleasurable 4 years. I've enjoyed every minute of it. The engagement represented by the attendance here today has been really above par and indicative of a city like Santa Barbara where people go to great pains to live here and stay involved and work hard to make the community even better. So it's been great. Some of the highlights include tweaking the AUD to make it actually work for workforce residents, bringing forth environmental legislation to make our community safer and healthier, and things of that nature. Probably the lowlights have been the politicization in several areas on the council, so I hope that goes away with the new council. And so I'm very excited to move on to other arenas in government and politics and do a little more nonprofit work. And I want to thank staff who I've really enjoyed working with. They've been the utmost professionals, efficient, effective, responsive, and I'm going to miss them very, very much. I'm going to miss my colleagues up here, who I would say the same thing about, and I look forward to working them just from a different capacity. So I want to end by thanking the community who have been the reason I ran to begin with, and I'm going to keep working for the community. Look forward to working with my successor, Councilmember Gutierrez, and doing whatever I can to help make our community a better place to live. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Mr. Rouse.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, that was amazingly brief, Mr. Dominguez. We're all blown away. It's been quite a ride these last 9 years. I've gone through a lot of transitions, both here in the public and in my private life, as a lot of you guys know. First off, I'd like to start off by thanking my family. My wife, Janet, and my son, Brian, are both in the audience, along with my daughter, Lauren. And I know my mother-in-law, Peggy's out there, so hi, Peggy. Appreciate all the support. You can imagine what it's been like living with somebody who thought that a 7-day-a-week food service job should have a public office to combine with it to make our life as blissful as possible. The staff is, as I mentioned in the papers, is incredibly dedicated and tolerant, given that they've had to sit there and listen to us, and especially with Ariel and Paul up here, who work directly for us. And Sarah, once again, I can't say enough about staff. There's a few kind of unsung notables I'd like to bring up. We all know about department heads and chiefs and all those folks, but there's a few people that really were impactful in these last few years. One was Derek Bailey, our new traffic engineer, or new traffic engineer, who brought us out of the dark days of traffic calming devices and into reasonable engineering feats, including His coup de grace, which was the roundabout at Cliff and Las Positas. I've never seen an adult male choke up at the ribbon cutting of a roundabout before, but Derek took that pretty personally. Victor Garza is somebody who has been an incredible public servant. And I'm really, really proud of the ambassador program, and I'm really proud of what Victor does with those folks every day. It's our non-sworn force that out there is a multiplier for our sworn force. It gives us a great presence out on State Street. My colleagues, there's Mr. Hart back there and a few other, Mr. White, people that helped put that funding into place. So I really appreciate that, and I think that was a big step forward for the downtown Santa Barbara. The chief, I got to mention Lori Luna since she's here. I've never had more fun with a police chief ever, so that was, again, I had to bring her up. And Eric Nickel, our new fire chief, and yeah. Is McElroy in here? That's too bad. I give him a hard time because, 1970, my football team beat his football team in the CIF playoffs. I always like to mention that publicly whenever possible. Sorry he's not here to enjoy that comment. I've really enjoyed the work and I've really enjoyed the relationships. And recently there's an article in the newspaper that talked about how this was all going to be a one-party council and how I was anti-political party. And I'm really not that concerned as I see the individuals up here, and there have been certainly worse calamities in the history of man. Of course, you might have to go to the Old Testament to find them. And as for my colleagues, I didn't always get it right. And if Sheila Lodge is here, she could probably remind me of some of my design decisions from up here on the dais. But I always tried to vote for the right reasons. And that was, and is really, really important to me. So that's something that I hope my colleagues can take to heart. I think that's a great way to sleep at night. If you vote for the right reasons, you don't have to think about anything else. You just do things in an ad hoc manner. Jason, I'd like to really congratulate you on the birth of Emmeline. And I also want to congratulate you on a term well served. Someday, Jason, I know you're going to sit on another board somewhere, somehow, and the person sitting next to you, just like me, is going to thrill to the moment when your mic light comes on one more time to ask one more question or make one more comment. I envy that person. For the rest of my council members, we've argued, we've laughed with each other, we've barked at each other. I think we develop personal relationships. I hope that the district thing is something that you'll respect, but don't take too seriously up here. Nothing we do up here is district oriented. It's all at large. Everything you do is for the entire city, not just for a district. But on a really personal note, when it's all said and done, when I think about each of you individuals, I'd like to close by saying, I've never actually really liked any of you at all very much. So I'm done. Thank you.
So now is the opportunity for those of us up here to send these two off with some brilliant and kind remarks. But we did make up some proclamations. The one for Councilmember Dominguez notes that he was Mayor Pro Tem in 2017, and it lists the different council liaison assignments that you had, including Airport Commission, Architectural Board of Review, the Single Family Design Board, among other assignments. So it closes commending you for your honorable service and wishing you success and happiness in all future endeavors. And Councilmember Rouse's, you were Mayor Pro Tem in 2018 and acknowledges you for representing District 2, the Mesa area, elected at large the first time. Appointed the first time, actually, and that you were instrumental in creation of the ambassador program. We just had a couple of those workers save someone's life, I think, so good work. It quotes you saying it's refreshing and enlightening to see how many capable and dedicated people work within the city structure. Nice. So we'll be visiting you wherever you're going to be. We love that restaurant. And so this also wishes you success and happiness in all your future endeavors. And the floor is open for our council members. Do you want to go first, Mr. Friedman? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to do a friendly roast of each of you. First, I'll begin with Jason. I do want to admit that I do value all your questions. And most significantly, I often used to wonder whether I was at a city council meeting or a contestant on an episode of Jeopardy. I'll take AUDs or ADUs for 1,000, Mr. Casey. These past 2 years, and particularly 2019, I felt that we were able to work together and tackle some of the very major issues that faced our city, and I appreciated working with you on facing those, and our city's better for it. But perhaps what I'm going to miss most about you being up here is that you and I in particular were the two that could talk sports, whether it's the Lakers, college football, or whatever it is, and it really kind of just brought a more jovial atmosphere and sometimes took the tension out. And in particular, our friendly rivalry with my alma mater, Notre Dame, and yours, Stanford, was always fun. And I really appreciated those times. And I do want to also say that I'm a little more nervous than I thought I'd be here, is that my family wishes and congratulates you on the birth of your beautiful baby girl. You were showing us pictures earlier. Being a parent is such a joy and a blessing, and we are very joyful for you and excited for you and Casey in this new endeavor in your life. And I do have a small gift for you. And if you could pass this down, Madam Mayor. And you can tell that I actually wrapped it. So, before you open it, I just want to say you don't need to worry. My family and Councilmember Sneddon have approved this gift.
Future alumni, Notre Dame. And he only said the rivalry was fun because Notre Dame's won, is it last year, the last 2 years? Thank you, Councilmember Friedman.
All right.
Very good.
And for Randy, I appreciate your comments. So first, for your send-off, I thought I'd try something a little different and original, and I thought I'd start with a quote. In particular, Teddy Roosevelt. So I don't know if anybody in your pool had that one coming up. So Teddy Roosevelt's quote, it's his famous quote, one of his many famous quotes, but in particular, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. And for 9 years, you have been in the arena, and our city is better for it. As I thought about what I wanted to express to you today, something strange happened. I kept thinking of the late, great actor Walter Matthau. And I'm like, why am I thinking of Walter Matthau? And then I said, well, it makes sense. He starred in the movie Grumpy Old Men and the creatively named sequel Grumpier Old Men. And you are known as the Grumpy Old Walrus. But, that wasn't it. Then I realized that he also starred as Coach Morris in that classic movie, The Bad News Bears. And if you think about the last 2 years, I don't think there's a better film that could kind of tell what our council's been about other than that you're our Coach Morris and we're the Bad News Bears these last 2 years. And as we move forward, we had our challenges, but we started to trust each other and we started to have some successes. You both mentioned some of that we had. And we had you as a coach, and we were able to communicate, and you really made us all better council members. But me in particular, I really valued your advice, and you've made me a better council member on how I go through my deliberative process. And I really want to express that to you, and thank you for that. So with that, as you enter the next phase of your life, I'm reminded of a quote by Yogi Berra. When you come to a fork in the road, you take it. And so as you take this at your crossroad, I have a gift for you as well. Actually, two. So, so before you open it, with your retirement from Paradise and the council, I have one last quote to send you off. And I remember this one fondly from when I was growing up, and it comes actually from former Republican governor of California who had a long, successful career, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I mean this with all sincerity. Hasta la vista, baby.
Thank you, Councilmember Friedman. I don't know how grumpy this particular walrus looks, but I do take that sincerely, and I do think it has great logo and hat phrase potential. And we also have the 365 smartest things ever said. And I know Eric probably has memorized most of them, so thank you very much.
What a tough act to follow. Okay, Ms. Sneddon, you're going to attempt it? My goodness.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to attempt it. No quotes. Just from the heart, I'll start with Councilmember Dominguez. You were the first council member I met when I was running for office, and you were extremely encouraging, and not just encouraging to be present, but you asked really hard questions, and it became very clear to me early on that you don't accept shallow answers. And though that may be a thorn in our side sometimes, but you don't let go of the hard question. And I'm hoping as you embark on your next stage, I'm so incredibly happy for you and your family and Casey and your little baby girl. And also in terms of the next generation, thinking about your commitment all the way through your career to the environment, to energy, to asking those hard questions, to holding the candle to our feet to keep us moving forward and being progressive in that. I really have appreciated your views on housing and your long-term view for the betterment of our community. And I'm going to miss you on council and your voice. And I have a feeling that you will have your voice still be heard in the future with us. And I'm hoping that this is an open invitation to always share your views and your views of the city. And Councilmember Rouse, you, to me, represent the true heart of the city. I've been a patron at the Paradise since the 80s and have seen you in this community and your involvement with De La Guerra Plaza, with visioning for the downtown. And I do truly appreciate how all of your decisions come from the very best heart of this city and what you want for our community and what you see as the long-term view, looking back and looking forward. And it's also going to miss that perspective very much. You bring us to balance. You bring us very much to the center of what we need for our city. And I'm also hoping that you will keep us focused and stay around and give your input for big changes that we have coming up. And I'm so honored to have served with the two of you. You'll be missed.
Thank you. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jason, I just want to tell you that I really learned a lot working with you, and I enjoyed trading stories with you of our lives, and I'm going to miss your candidness. I'll never forget when I first met with you when I was meeting with all the council members about running for office, and I asked you what it was like to be a council member, and you gave the most dead-on answer that I received, and it was more of a warning, really, and I appreciate that. So I'm really going to miss you, and I hope to see you around, and congratulations on your family. Randy, to play off of Eric, I feel like both Megan and I can agree that we kind of looked at you as the Gandalf of the group, So thanks for leading the path and making sure we didn't get too lost. And your knowledge and wisdom is going to be missed, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, my colleagues have said it so well. I'll start with Councilmember Dominguez. Thank you for your service and for the time you have spent on behalf of our city. You have always been engaged. You have always been focused. You've always been passionate, and that is the energy that we all should bring to our jobs every day. I cannot give you enough congratulations for the news of your baby. We know you've had quite a few jobs. This is the best one of all. It will be the hardest, but the most meaningful, and I couldn't be happier for you. I saw Mara in the background, and she's already waiting for the play date. So thank you very much for your service. Randy, where do I start? I have been so grateful to have the opportunity to sit up here with the absolute best of the best. Over the last year, Councilmember Rouse has become a valued mentor to me, a worthy debate partner, though I actually am going to dispute your win record on that, and a trusted and loyal friend. I don't think it would surprise anyone in this room to learn that Randy and I have had our share of disagreements. But what might surprise you guys is the way that even in our most heated debates, Councilmember Rouse treats me, and most importantly, my ideas, with fundamental respect. He listens, he engages, he asks questions. And I think in this day and age, when we're all so dug in and things can feel so intractable, Randy is an amazing example of our ability to actually engage with new ideas and to have hard conversations, and to do so without losing sight of our own true north. That is something you have taught me, and I think that is a legacy to be so proud of. And I'm so grateful for your service, grateful for all you've done for me, and can't wait to see what the next chapter holds.
Well, I have gifts. I didn't wrap them. So, Councilmember Dominguez, I'd like to acknowledge your service to the city and your representation of the East Side. Thank you so much. Mr. Rouse, you were Mayor Pro Tem during the most difficult year, 2018. We were in disaster recovery. Our downtown needed help, and you and I convened meetings with downtown business owners and property owners, and we've done a lot of good. I'd like to give you a lot of credit for leading the way on that. Thank you very much. So what I got was the movie Brigadoon. And for those of you who weren't watching that land use appeal, it was an appellant who, they get 20 minutes to give their case, and he took a full 8 minutes telling us the story of Brigadoon as a way to tell the story of how to change the property over at Sears. So as it turned out, it was kind of a good move. So all of you appellants out there, bring musical theater into your argument. So here's Brigadoon for the both of you. And then copies of Madam Mayor, written by Marty Bloom. And I see her out there. And this isn't so much to remind you, of me, but to inspire you to write a book about being on the city council. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? So I see Mayor Bloom out there, former Mayor Helene Schneider, thank you for being here. Former Councilmember Dale Francisco, Hal Conklin is here, former mayor. Bendy White, former city council member. Am I missing? Kate Ford is elected to the school board. Greg Hart, thank you, Greg. Yeah, okay. Okay, so just to acknowledge people out there. So thank you, enjoy your gifts, and now it's time for the public. Okay, go ahead.
I'd be remiss if I didn't have one last thing.
Okay, yeah. This is your last chance.
But after what Councilmember Sneddon here, I feel obliged to come next Tuesday. No. Thank you all for the gifts and the wonderful, very kind remarks. I saved one last thank you. I wasn't sure if she'd be able to make it, but my wife today is her first pediatrics appointment, so we had trouble scheduling it around the meeting. But she drives everything I do. I love her with all my heart. She informs every decision I make, and every breath I take, I think about her. So I'm upset that she's not here, but she's taking care of our future, and so I just wanted to thank her publicly, and a lot of you have gotten to know her, so thank you.
Thank you. Lee Moldaver, are you here? So everyone gets 3 minutes up at the microphone. Lee, you'll be followed by Jose Arturo Gallegos, Dale Francisco, April Montoya. Thank you. And the item is comments by the public relating to outgoing council members Dominguez and Rouse. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I am Lee Moldaver, a longtime resident, and I'm going to offer my comments now for the outgoing councilman because, as one of President Kennedy's speechwriters wrote for him, victory has many fathers, defeat is an orphan. And I think when you're leaving office, I would choose to look at the many victories that you've had along the way. And first, I would say to both of you and to this whole council, every time that you meet, and especially every time that you recognize each other like today, you give the lie in public to the nasty vibe that comes from Washington that public service is no longer a public trust and that public service is no longer something to aspire to. Each one of you every week puts the lie to that. When I look at the diversity of life experience and skills that Jason and Randy have brought to the council over the years, in so many areas, in law, in environment, in county government, in public safety, in small business, in the downtown, in traffic and parking, in the Mesa and Cliff Drive, and the relationship with City College, so many other things. We are so lucky that you have each taken time from busy, busy, busy careers to share your time and ideas with your colleagues, with the staff whom you make better with your questions and challenges, and with each other. You have made such a positive difference in the community, and even raising the questions on vacation rentals and accessory dwelling units and density and how affordable should affordable housing be and where should it go. Those are the tough questions that everyone in the street, if they're not asking, at one time or another wonders about. And you've made your other 5 colleagues and your 1,000 plus employees sharper and stronger and brighter just for bringing that forward every week. And I am so glad that you're both going to be in the community in a slightly different role, sharing your wisdom and experience and your impatience for progress and change with us. You've made the city better. Like all great families, sometimes you've had your disagreements. But as with all great families, when it was important, you've all really come together for the good of the city. And I want to thank each of you and wish you well in the future. And special congratulations to Jason on the improvement of your family. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lee. Mr. Gallegos?
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, council members. One, it's a happy occasion. Congratulations. I'm still going to refer you as Council Member Dominguez on the birth of your daughter on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, rather. But today, for me, it's a sad day because you did not win second term. You lost, unfortunately. And it's a sad day for those in the community of the East Side, District 1, that voted for you. Trust me, if there was no districts whatsoever, I would have voted for you. I would have. I appreciate everything that you have done for the community of the East Side and for the city of Santa Barbara as a whole as well. I will miss you. But I will always be there to back you up and support you in any way that you need me. And you know how to get a hold of me. The one thing that you endured while you were here, the disrespect, being berated by Mayor Murillo in public, talking down to you, when she never did that to any of the other council members. Even former Helene Mayor Schneider, she respected everybody. Everybody. She might not agree with her fellow council members, but she showed respect. One time, somebody asked Jesus, what would you do when somebody strikes you? Jesus' response is, turn the other cheek, which you did, because you kept your self-respect, your dignity, and kudos to you for doing that. Me, if I was up there in your position, I would, oh, trust me, I would not put up with it. I would be full of fire, and I am a very tenacious type of individual. So good thing I'm not don't ever plan to run for city council. But once again, I appreciate everything you've done. And Council Member Rouse, kudos to you to keep the neon sign at the Paradise Cafe, because I am a very nostalgic person, and you fought hard for that one. So I love neon signs. All right. Good luck to both of you. Thank you.
Dale Francisco, you're next. April Montoya after you. Leslie Wiscombe, Tino de Guevara, Chris Barros, and Anna Marie Gott. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. Well, I'm going to cast aside my prepared remarks. I was inspired by Eric, and suddenly what came to me was a quote from Martin Luther King. Free at last, thank God Almighty. I hope the new council members aren't in the room yet. Jason, I have to admit, even after I was off council, I occasionally watched city council meetings. So I have seen you in action, and I think it's incredibly important that council members study what's before them and ask tough questions. You really are the representatives of the people here, and your job is to make sure that working with our very skilled staff members, that we get results that are what the people of this city want. And so asking questions, tough questions, repeated questions is extraordinarily important. So I thank you for that. For Randy, what you bring to this council is unique. And long before you ever thought about elected office or even appointed office, you were participating literally for decades in committees working for this city. And the people in this town who are able to combine their family life and a very demanding business life and service for their community, that's rare. Those are the kind of people that have really made Santa Barbara what it is. Those are the kind of people that we need in our future. And so I know what a sacrifice it is in time to be on city council, and I know how much dedication you brought to this task, and I'm grateful, and I know the people of Santa Barbara are grateful. So thank you both, and good luck.
Thank you. Ms. Montoya?
Good afternoon. This is for you, Jason. This is a really sad day for District 1 and the city of Santa Barbara, since we're losing you as a city council member. 4 years ago, when you were running for District 1 on the city council, you came to my door. You didn't ask me for your vote. You asked me if I had any concerns or problems that I wanted to talk to you about. And you listened to me, and you took notes, and you said you would start working on things. And you did. You kept your word. And for that, our neighborhood where I live on the east side, is a better place to live now. The park across the street is a better place now due to you, and thanks to Lori Luno and the department and Rich Hanna. You never let me down, and I knew I could call you whenever, and I appreciate that so much because I felt like the city council is unreachable, and you never made me feel like that. So Jason, I want to thank you publicly for your help, and now yours and Casey's friendship, and congratulations on your new baby. You are a man of integrity, deep conviction to do the right thing, and most of all, listening to the concerns of the people in District 1 and the city of Santa Barbara that you serve. I am sorry to see you leave the city council, but when you win the assembly seat, I know you'll be back here helping us to solve some of our problems from that office. I would like to encourage all of you on the city council to go out into your districts and walk your neighborhoods personally and listen to the concerns of the people that you serve. It's really important. Not everyone can come to city council meetings, and I'm just lucky to have a great boss who's here today. So thank you very much. Congratulations, Jason. We'll really miss you.
Very good. Ms. Wiscombe?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of City Council. I'm Leslie Wiscombe, Chairman of the Planning Commission, and I just want to extend our sincere gratitude on behalf of the Planning Commission to our outgoing council members, Jason Dominguez and Randy Rouse, for their excellent public service and their dedication to the city. I know I speak for the entire commission when I say we look forward to, the commission enjoyed working with both of you, and thank you for your hard work for the community. It's been a pleasure. I know we did some work side by side, and we do some work as council and commission, and it's been a good ride. You have all asked the hard questions, and I think we've solved some problems along the way. And I'd like to congratulate Jason on his new family member, your little angel, as you say, and good luck to you both. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Mr. De Guevara? Welcome.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, Tino De Guevara, I'm representing Santa Barbara East Side Society. I just want to thank Jason Dominguez for all his hard work on the East Side, and he helped stem the criminal activity that was going on in Ortega Park. Almost got us killed, but it was very honorable for you to show up and be there for us. I wanted to thank him for addressing the volatile homeless issue that we had on Aliso Street. I think it was a great act of quelling a very unstable situation that came to a pretty good resolution. And rolling up your sleeves and participating in National Cleanup Day, where we cleaned up the Milpas corridor and it sparkled after that. We really appreciate your support and the supporting the Santa Barbara East Side Society's Milpas Holiday Parade, which was a wonderful event. We had over 50 entries, and everyone had a really good time there. And thank you also, Councilman Rouse, for all your help in supporting us, too, and the rest of the council. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Ms. Barros, are you here?
Greetings. Thank you, all of you. But you two guys have been so helpful to the concerns that we had at the Flamingo Mobile Home Park. And we just really appreciate everything you've done and wish you the best.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gott, Anna Marie Gott. Is Jesse Espinoza here?
He's in the back room. Jesse, can you come out and wave?
Otherwise, 3 minutes.
There he is.
You're giving 2 minutes to, okay, so 5 minutes.
Thank you, Randy, but this is mostly for Jason, and I can't wing this today, so I'm going to have to read it. The city of Santa Barbara has lost a shining light today. Councilmember Jason Dominguez, you've been my favorite council member, not because we agree on everything, but because you are who you are. how you think, and what you bring to the table. Santa Barbara is a better place for having had you serve as a council member. You single-handedly made changes to the average unit size density program, which has brought nothing but luxury housing or Section 8 housing to Santa Barbara. You made it your top priority. You secured changes, but it was a fight that took years, and needed changes were rejected time and again, or slow-walked, by council members supported by the Democratic Central Committee, who should have supported the changes, but they had no understandings of the consequences of delayed actions. These council members bowed to special interest groups rather than residents, what residents wanted or what they needed, which was housing that was truly affordable for our workforce. You've called out time and again the destruction of affordable housing to build luxury housing that our workforce and residents can't afford. And you were shut down in meetings and scolded for bringing up the subject. You are independent, a thought leader, honest, and have integrity that is unmatched. You want accountability, transparency, relevant and timely information, and you wanted education. When that is the last thing that this city administration and most council members want. You've fought for reasonable changes, discussions on issues that affect and will affect Santa Barbara for generations. Whether it is zoning issues, how ordinances are applied to projects, jobs, the environment, or the fact that District 1 is the dumping ground for the city. You've tried to make changes. You've fought for the underdog and for what is right. I admire this, as do many who are not here today. You are the real deal, Jason. And we need more people just like you in politics, not fewer. Thank you for your service, for your friendship, and for being the person that you are. I will support you in the assembly, and I do hope and pray that you are elected. Thank you.
Thank you. So that closes public comment on this item, and thank you both. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming out for this. We move on to a really exciting part of the meeting now. Ms. Clerk, the affirmation of allegiance by council members-elect Alejandro Gutierrez, Oscar Gutierrez, now we have two, Megan Harmon, and Mike Jordan. So, as you know, Oscar Gutierrez and Megan Harmon did not have opponents in their race. They were appointed, but this is the official part where they get sworn in. So.
I'll just stand in a line along here. Yes. And I'll read the whole thing and then ask you to say, I do. Or I affirm. We're not getting married. Hello, incoming council members. I'm Sarah Gorman. I am the City Clerk Services Manager. And in this capacity, it's my honor and privilege to deliver the oath of allegiance to you this afternoon. If each of you could please raise your right hand. I will read the oath, and then at the end, if you agree, you can say, I agree. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter as council member. Very good. Congratulations. 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 Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Harmon. Councilmember Jordan. And Councilmember Gutierrez. Congratulations. And you may be seated.
Thanks. Yeah. So come on up. So it looks like we accomplished number 5, right, Ms. Gorman, presentation of certificates of election.
Correct.
Number 6, seating of newly installed council members. There they are. And number 7 is comments by council members Alejandra Gutierrez, Oscar Gutierrez, Megan Harmon, and Mike Jordan. So, Ms. Gutierrez, are you ready to start and say a few words? We should let the old ones go first, huh? Okay, we'll let them break the ice. So, Ms. Harmon, are you ready? Okay.
Sure thing. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Oh, well, I am so grateful for the opportunity to serve for 2 more years. I have said this before, but I think it bears repeating. Serving my neighbors as their representative to this body has been one of the greatest honors. And as I look at the 7 of us today, I think it's kind of an apt moment to reflect on who we are. We are 4 women. We are 3 people of color. We are moms and dads and grandparents to toddlers and school-aged children. We live in inter- and multi-generational households. Some of us own our homes, some of us rent. We're working folks, and we all understand, each in our own way, the challenges and blessings that come with living in this great city. That is the hope of democracy. Its promise that through making our voices heard, through voting, when we look at our elected officials, we see ourselves reflected back to us. And I really think today in the city of Santa Barbara, we have taken a step toward fulfilling that promise. So in closing, wow, am I proud to be sitting among the 7 of you. We are going to do some great things together, and it's time to get back to work.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Primero, los quiero dar gracias a la gente de mi ciudad. Gracias por todo el apoyo, la suerte y ayuda y amor que me han dado. Les quiero decir que aquí estoy para ustedes. Si cualquier momento tienen un problema, una idea, por favor, pueden venir y hablar conmigo. Aquí estoy para trabajar para ustedes. Y aquí estoy para su servicio. Muchas gracias. I just want to give my thanks to everybody in the city that's given me so much throughout my entire life growing up here. I'm really grateful to be able to have grown up here and have been a result of previous councils and what they've done for the city when I was growing up here. And I'm extremely proud to be able to sit up here and hopefully lead the way for future generations. And I take the responsibility really, really seriously. It's the biggest responsibility in my life so far. And I'm here to start working for each and every one of you. And at any point, if you feel like we're not doing a good job, please do not hesitate to let us know, because that's what we're here to do, is to work for you. So I look forward to the new year, the new decade, and the new council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Jordan?
For a moment, when you started, I was certain you were going to say we're going to go to the old guy first, not the old council members first. So thank you for that.
Sure.
I imagine Ali and I will both have a few people to thank, and I'm sure you're thinking that when we come second or third or fourth, we don't have to repeat what's already been said. So I'll disappoint you right away, first meeting. I have a lot of people to thank. Many of you are in the room. A lot of you put up with me for the last year while I'm thanking you, so I'm certainly thankful for that. Several rise to the top. Dave Lombardi, you're sitting right there smiling at me. But over a year ago, you were in my corner and stayed in my corner and kept me on track, kept me grounded. I want to thank you for that. Greg Hart, you snuck in at the back of the room, and I don't know how many times you put up with me with a frantic call at 10 o'clock at night or an email asking, what do I do about this? And you kept telling me to ignore the noise and just stay on point and keep doing the work, and I appreciate that. Ron and Pat Caird have kept me just grounded as family members from a perspective that's multi-generational Santa Barbarans, and can't tell you how appreciative I am of that. And then half our kids are here today, one of the grandkids, one of the in-laws. And couldn't have done this without the support of family, particularly my wife, Dana, who's annoyingly always half full and optimistic to my half empty and pessimistic. And I could not have done this without you, too. I am thrilled to death to be sitting here with these 6 other people, and sort of echoing Councilmember Harmon's point she made. We all come from a different perspective. I can make fun of a daughter who isn't here today because she's at work. When a year ago, October, she welcomed the announcement of me embarking upon this path with the exclamation that, what the heck's wrong with me? I'm old, white, and male. And she used a couple other words, as some of you know that have heard the direct quote. But that is not an observation or a response I take lightly. Each one of us bring different life experiences, different frame of references, different whatever to this position. And not only is it important that we use those frame of references, it's also important that we use your frame of references in everything we do. And I'll work hard to do that. I'm also particularly thankful that at this particular time, I'm not a historian, but 6 of us sitting up here also juggle full-time jobs, which I think is an important connection to that aspect of the community, whether it's in a business, working for a business, have a business. I think that perspective is really important to the continuing vitality of the city. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of us here have children in the household. I'm wheezing a little because it's that little blonde grandkid over there that lives with us, but I think that's also a valuable perspective that historically may have been short a little bit. That makes you focus not only on the here and the now and how you got here or what you already have, but it certainly makes you focus on the future and who's going to be taking your place afterwards. And I think that's a great base to have. Sitting on the Planning Commission for the past 10 years and Water Commission for the past 4, it's constantly a matter of addressing the tensions between big picture community benefit and individual self-interests and where that balance point is. I intend to work really hard on being engaged, transparent, and inclusive in finding that balance point. It's really difficult because in today's day and age, that balance point moves every time you look at it. It doesn't stay in the same place. So I would hope that we collectively can do that. I'm going to work hard also to make sure that we do that in a manner that's respectful and polite with each other and with the community. I'd also like to say thank you, since you're staring right at me, Mr. Casey, for the welcome and the words of support I've gotten from you, your office, and all of your department heads as we've ramped up to this moment. And I'm looking forward to getting started. So thank you again. Hope you'll join this journey with us.
Thank you. Ms. Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am definitely the product of how every vote counts. I did win by 8 votes. I was born and raised in the city, and I'm definitely a product of this city. The city is very diverse, and I have everybody to thank for being on the seat, especially for the voters and the community. And it's just such an honor to represent District 1, where I grew up and where my family is rooted. Thank you for all of my friends and colleagues and family members that were there for me. I am definitely a first-time candidate, but it's such an honor to represent the city I grew up in and I'm rooted. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Primeramente quiero agradecerle a toda la comunidad porque cada uno de sus votos me trajeron hoy a esta posición. Es una gran responsabilidad, pero a la misma vez es un honor. Yo quiero agradecer a una mujer que está aquí, que es mi madre, que gracias a ella tengo la fortaleza de tomar esta gran responsabilidad de representar en la comunidad en general, no solamente el Distrito 1. Gracias a mis amigos y a la gente de la comunidad que me apoyó, pero creo que también soy un ejemplo que el voto latino es muy importante y cada voto cuenta. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, and welcome, both of you. Before we go to public comment, we have our Poet Laureate presentation to set the stage. Please come on up. And
Good
welcome.
afternoon. It's an honor, really, that you would include poetry in these very important historical moments for our city. And I do want to thank you all for those hours and hours and hours that you give for the betterment of this great community. So thank you. My warm congratulations and welcome to Alejandra Gutierrez and Mike Jordan. Also warm congratulations to being re-sworn to Megan Herman and Oscar Gutierrez. Thank you to our supportive and most motivated mayor, Kathy Murillo. I'm so grateful for everything you do for our beautiful city. The tireless Sarah York Rubin, what a remarkable job she does at the Santa Barbara Office of Arts and Culture, asked me to read the poem for you that I wrote on the occasion of my installation last March. In it, I speak of one of the Santa Barbara blessings that I love so much, the light in this city. In the poem, there's one word that I need to explain a little bit before I read it for you. It's the word app. It's the name for those doomed Chumash dwellings that they made, and not for what you pile up in your telephone. Here is my poem for you, and again, a warm welcome and much gratitude. Santa Barbara's poetry is in the light, isn't it? That light, how it ripples like laughter on Spanish tiled roofs, loops through fronds, bounces off adobe. Even the shadows here glow differently. How light whirls through the hills and sometimes seems to ride the breeze. And how quickly it hides in the ocean's waves and then throws its sequins at our feet. It's in that ocean, that light, and in its hazy islands hunched on the horizon like phantom silhouettes of the Chumash app, where they wove their intricate baskets with cattails and rush. The light lingers in the mountains at dusk, That lavender hour, so peaceful, so picturesque, one almost forgets how those slopes burned and burned for ash-choked days and nights. How those fires still seethe in the eyes of those whose homes were torched. They still hiss with all they destroyed, and how those flames roared with the bears' cries and the mountain lions blistered alive. Nothing left but the somber, soot-black fireplaces and chimneys here and there, standing there, an absurd army of defeated ghosts. Such sorrow. And in the despair, when the rains came then, too early, too hard, the earth unable to hold back all that weeping, all that ash, so it let go of it and poured it down, rocks and mud, boulders, trees, horses, splintered houses, thundering down and drowned into the pre-dawn. What ruin in the dark stanzas of these tragedies. And yet, in spring, out of that desolation, blazing stars, nasturtium and fire poppies painted the canyons and hills with colors and light again. Wildlife processions of joy. Orange, yellow, blue, bold like old Spanish day floats. Or the children's fiesta costumes that twirled as the Chumash, Latino, and Mexican drums beat and swirl their songs in our plazas and streets. And poetry is not only in those children, it is our children. It is in every hue of their skin. Each gaze they turn toward us, trusting that we'll continue to be this lit city, welcoming everyone, open wide like the doors and windows that we throw open each day to let in that light, our eager, enduring, and beloved light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have three speakers, Alan Morales, Leslie Wiscombe, and Hal Conklin, to make comment on the new people that are sworn in. Mr. Morales, did you want to come up and speak? Alan, Mr. Morales? Yeah, it's your turn. This is it.
Hi, members of the public. Hello, City Council, Madam Mayor. My name is Alan Morales. I am a resident of Santa Barbara. I'm a little bit nervous. It's my first time doing a public comment, but I just want to say to Alejandra, congratulations. I have known you since last summer, and I just been extremely proud of you. I'm trying to cry. I'm really proud to have you as a friend. I'm very proud of what we're going to be doing. I'm very excited for you. The entire city of Santa Barbara, your community, and just District 1 is very proud of you. I'm very grateful to have you in my life. I wish you all the best. Mike Jordan, I also wish you all the best. Other members of the City Council also wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wiscombe, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of City Council. I'm Leslie Wiscombe, Chairman of the Planning Commission. And I want to congratulate Ms. Harmon and Mr. Gutierrez on their well-deserved appointments to Council, and Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Jordan for their successful election to Council. I know I speak for the entire Planning Commission when I say we look forward to working with our mayor and the council on important land use issues and policies, including our housing amendments and our sea level rise adaptation plan, to ensure Santa Barbara is the best place in paradise. And as Ms. Harmon said earlier, let's get to work. So congratulations and thank you.
I like it. Mr. Conklin, thanks, Ms. Wiscombe, for reminding us. After all of this, we have work to do. Come on up, Mr. Conklin. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. It is a pleasure on behalf, I guess now, of all the rest of us who are here to say thank you for your service. There is nothing that is more exciting than being a citizen. It does require a lot of giving. It requires a lot of things. But when you look at the last 3 centuries of Santa Barbara, only 300 people have had the opportunity in 3 centuries to sit where you are and do what you're doing. It's just a special time taken out of the rest of your life to do something special for Santa Barbara and then go back to the rest of your life. It's not a career. It's not something that we aspire to do because it's going to bring us glory. If anything, it tests our patience. There is nothing that you will face greater than the test of that patience. The one gift you can give, though, to the public is the gift of listening. People just need to be heard. They don't always need the answer. You may not always have the answer, but people just need to know that you hear them. And that's a really, really important gift to give. But finally, I'd say the gift that you give to yourself is take care of your family. You know, I've sat here for numerous times over the years, and I was a single parent with 3 kids. I know what it's like to try and balance having a job and raising a family, and also trying to deal with everybody who wants your attention. And if in the end you look back on it and you let go of your family in order to take care of one more problem, you'll have truly lost something important in your life. Nothing you're going to do here will pale by the comparison of taking care of your family. So make sure that's your number 1 priority. Don't answer the phone on the weekends if you don't have to. Make sure somebody's there to help you do what you need to do. There's a lot of help out there for people who help you to do what you need to do, including myself. The one gift that I was given when I was on the council was a long list of people who had been on the council before me, but it was unorganized. So we took an intern one time, and 30 years ago this year, and we had that intern spend 3 months, and they organized everybody who'd ever been on the council over essentially 150 years before. And we just used it as a reference book. Well, every 2 years after that, and we're now in the 12th edition of that, it just kept getting added to. So your name is now in the new book, and this week we'll give you all a copy of it. And it's a great reference book to go back and see who's served all the way from 1826 up to the present, including you, who are now in the book of history. So thank you for your service, and welcome aboard.
That's a great way to close that item, Mr. Conklin. Thank you very much, and we'll take a break and be back with our regular meeting.